Our crime and safety analyst, Ken Jefferson, who's spent many, many decades in law enforcement, and you might be interested in hearing what he has to say. I know you couldn't quite hear Kyla, it was a bit noisy, but she was saying that she's been moved once, moved again, and now she's being told that she's going to be moved outside with her arms up in the air. What does that say to you that police are still moving students around?
Well, they're searching the area. They don't know if it's one person or this person has an accomplice. It's our understanding that one person has been taken into custody. Are there more? The police didn't know that at the time, and they don't know who that suspect may be. So everybody has to come out in a surrender type mode to show their compliance with law enforcement. They've got a lot of buildings to search. They've got a lot of students to move around. So it's not uncommon for them to be moved more than once.
And as far as when this initially happened at 12:02, now we are at 1:43. It's a large campus, a lot of people, chaos, police everywhere. If it's a single shooter, if there's more than one shooter, is it logical that they could escape with all these people watching?
Well, anything can happen, but you know, you got a large presence of law enforcement now. You can imagine you've got the Florida State University Police there, Tallahassee Police Department, Leon County Police Department, Sheriff's Office, and any other adjacent jurisdiction that can come over and help. So they've got a large police presence. That's not to say that a person can escape, but it'll be very difficult for them to escape because the police are scouring the area very dutifully.
And so dive into what we would know from your law enforcement about the mental state of someone who would open fire in a student union. That's already a crowded place.
Yeah, well, you don't know what the situation is at this point. You know, was this person suffering from some kind of mental illness? Did they have a mental illness crisis? Were they upset or angry with a professor or a student or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever? We don't know the situation as far as the state of mind is concerned. All we know is right now that that person had a weapon, a deadly weapon, and has injured several people and could have possibly killed some people. So the objective is to find that person, get as much information as you can from witnesses to describe what that person looks like, what they're wearing, the last direction of travel that they were going in, and use that information to hone in on where that person was and get him.
And so let's just hold on with me for a moment, Ken. And Kyla, are you still on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you for being so polite. Kyla, have they given you any more instructions? Are you supposed to go back outside now and move to another building? Or are you still supposed to stand quietly where you are or sit quietly?
Can you repeat the question?
Are you being moved still, or are you supposed to stay put?
They're moving us, but I think they're just moving us inside classrooms.
They're moving you to inside classroom. Okay, but you have been moved from one building to the next outside once, right?
Yes.
So, Kyle,
Yes.
I'm going to ask Ken Jefferson here why that is. You know, as a parent, I think I don't want my child outside. That seems more scary and more dangerous.
Well, if law enforcement is moving her, she's safe because they're on the scene. They're not going to let anything happen to any students that they're moving. They're rendering her safe. So they could be moving her so that they can check where she last was, or moving her to a safer location that's in their opinion. But if law enforcement is there and they're doing the instructions, she's safe.
Okay, we remember back in 2014 there was a shooting at FSU. It was in the library, and that shooter was taken down and killed. But there were 3 people injured in that situation. I remember we were there all those years ago, and people were horrified then, just as they are horrified now. It's one of those things that you think, when is this going to hit nearby? And so Kyla is still on the phone as well, and we want to chat back with her. Is there a question that you would like to ask Kyla from your expertise that I'm not asking her, Ken?
No, just a piece of advice. Just follow the instructions of the law enforcement officers, because they're there. They're trained for these type of situations. If they're moving you, they're moving you for a reason. If they're instructing you to do certain things, just follow their direction. If you're there with them, you're basically safe at this particular time. So just stay calm as you can. It's hard to stay calm in a situation like this. But stay calm, follow the instructions of the law enforcement officer, and you'll make it out safely.
And for anybody who's been to FSU or any college campus, you may be wondering what I'm wondering is how on earth are they ever going to clear this scene? How do you check every building, every bush, every alley, and ever decide that it's safe for the students to be finished with this?
Well, they deploy all their resources. They not only have boots on the ground, but they've got air units, they've got K9 units, they've got people that would be volunteers to come and help them with their search. They got reserve officers they can call in on automatic recall lists, whatever. There are ways, trust me, law enforcement knows how to handle this type of situation. It's a very large campus, of course it is, but it's not the first campus that's had a active shooter that's been of this particular nature, as large as a Florida State University. So they know what they're doing. We have to trust the process, we have to cooperate with them and manage to get out safely.
So let's talk about the situation wherever the suspect is. Maybe he's in a patrol car right now, or the one they've got in custody. What happens behind the scenes? That they want information from this particular person. How does that process work?
Well, they're not going to interrogate him in a patrol car. They're going to take him to a station, somewhere to an interrogation room, get him away from that scene, and they're going to try to get as much information out of him as they possibly can. Now, sometimes, you know, they're non-compliant. They're not going to talk. They're not going to cooperate or anything of that nature. So that does not prohibit the police from doing their job for rendering the area safe for everybody so that they can reopen and conduct business as usual. So upon an arrest in a situation like this, you get the person in custody, you get them away from that scene, and you begin you give them their rights because there's a due process, and you begin to question them, and hopefully they'll cooperate with you.
So if you're just joining us right now, yes, an active shooter announced at 12:02 for an alert sent out by FSU to students and teachers and everybody on campus. At that point, they were told to get away from windows, to get away from doors, and stay put and stay quiet. A lot of them we just understood from Kyla. She has had this training in high school. Unfortunately, this has been going on for years, and they knew what to do. We have then had it confirmed through ABC's multiple sources that one suspect, as you see on the screen, is in custody. Obviously, the scene is not finished. And so that's the point that makes everybody nervous. If the suspect is refusing to talk, I'm sure they're asking him, is there anybody else involved with you? And he won't say. What kind of police methods are being used to find out whether he's with another person who's got a gun?
Well, that's what I meant by if he's not cooperating, that's not going to stop them from searching. The search will continue. They'll continue to scour the area. They'll continue to pull students out, as you said, with their hands up. They'll continue to do the thing, and they'll determine whether or not if there's another suspect, whether he talks or not.
All right, let's go back to Kyla. Kyla, you are still in kind of a classroom area, is that right?
Ma'am.
Okay, and I'm just getting a notice from my producer. Let me listen to that for one moment. Tallahassee Memorial, which I believe has a trauma unit, has confirmed that they have received 6 patients, 1 in critical condition, and the rest of them are in serious condition. So again, Tallahassee Memorial, which has a trauma unit, has now confirmed they have received 1 person, and we don't know if it's a student or not. Did they say student, Mike, our producer? Or did they say people? 6 patients, okay. It's 5 in serious condition and 1 in critical condition. So before we had been told that 4 people had been shot by either 1 or more gunmen, but now we know it's 6, and they are at Tallahassee Memorial with the trauma center. So Kyla, I'm glad you're safe. I know your family is incredibly relieved that you're safe there, but tell us what's going on now. Are police saying anything to you? Do you still see about 10 of them in the hallway there, police officers?
They have moved us back into classrooms, but they haven't done anything.
And so when they move you back in the classroom, what do they say?
Just to get out the hallway.
Okay, for those of us who've not been on FSU's campus, help us understand the student union. Where is that on campus compared to, say, the football stadium or something that's familiar to everybody?
So the football stadium is about a 35-minute walk, but our football stadium isn't really at the center of campus. Our center of campus is what is called Lannis. So that is about a 5 to 10 minute walk from the student union. But the student union is one of the busiest buildings because there's food, study spots, stuff like that in there.
And that's where the shooting started. So the building that you went to first, or that you were already in, you said was like an anthropology area. You were in English class, right? Can you understand or see why law enforcement moved you to this second building? Does that make sense to you?
Not really, because it's closer to the union. Like, I would expect us to move us further.
Okay.
But I don't know.
So let me ask our crime and safety expert, Ken Jefferson, what you just said. You may not be able to hear her.
I can't hear her at all.
The very first building she was in, she was then moved to a second building, which actually was closer to the scene. So can you see any logic in moving all these people to another building?
Well, because I'm not there, I don't know. I don't know what the layout is. I don't know what their rhyme or reason is for that. But, you know, the students just have to cooperate, not try to figure it out. They have to cooperate. There's a reason, there's a purpose why law enforcement is doing that. And they won't disclose that. They'll just say, you need to move over here in a very direct way. And what's very, very important, vitally important in a situation like this, when you're encountering law enforcement, it's not the time to ask questions. It's time to do whatever they say.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make sure she isn't speaking too loud. She's asked to be quiet on the phone. I think she's talking in a quiet voice. That's why sometimes I can't hear her, but that's
Sure.
the safety precaution,
Absolutely.
is to not make so much noise. This is a live picture right now from FSU, and the news, in case you just joined us, wasn't good. It was that 6 patients are now at Tallahassee Memorial. We thought it was 4. Now it's been named 6, and 1 is in critical condition. 5 are in serious condition. We don't know if that's a mix of teachers, professors, students. We were just told there are patients there. And then we were just speaking with Kyla. So let's get Kyla back to us now. And Kyla, we're having you describe a little bit more about the campus. Help us understand about the student union. We don't know if the shooting happened on the first floor or wherever it was, but are there a lot of doors to that building? Describe that building for us.
That building is a really large, modern building. It's very open concept. You can see that, like, there's a mezzanine. It's very open. So no matter like where somebody would have came from, you have open access to a lot of people.
And then
There's not very many walls and stuff like that.
Okay, and so when that alert went out at 12:02, about what time did you start seeing and hearing the sirens and the police officers rush up toward that building?
We started hearing them before, but because we're in Tallahassee, it's nothing like new. So I just thought it was something passing.
Okay, but when the masses of law enforcement showed up, do you have any idea what time that was approximately?
That would have been like 12:40, 12:50 maybe.
Okay, and then what about your friends? Are they nearby you right now? Do they want to join us on the phone and tell us kind of how things are going for them?
No, all my friends are in different buildings. We're kind of spread across campus.
I'm sorry?
We're kind of spread across campus.
Oh, so you're not anywhere near anybody at the moment with you?
No.
Are you by yourself in a room?
No, there's other people.
Okay, I was just wondering if somebody who's nearby might want to join you on the phone and tell us a little bit about what their feelings are or their experience is. Do you have a friend next to you?
I can ask.
Okay, only if somebody wants to. So she's just saying that the student union is a large building it's modern with a lot of open access. And then she said when the sirens started, she first thought, oh, it's just a typical day, somebody's gotten in trouble or speeding or whatever, but then it became a massive effort by law enforcement. So right now she's seeing if there is anybody else there who would wanted to share their experiences. And parents, if you are at home right now and just hearing about this, Ken Jefferson is explaining to us that the situation seems to be under control as best it can be,
Yeah.
but it's not over.
Yeah, it's not over yet. It's not over until law enforcement gives the green light that everything goes back to normal. So for the parents that are home that are watching this, or either on their way to Tallahassee, one or the other, if they're leaving Jacksonville to go to Tallahassee, slow down, take a deep breath. Law enforcement is there. They've got the area under control as it stands right now. They're searching, they're still searching, they're still vetting everybody that comes out to see if they had a part in it or if they know anything, if they saw anything, heard anything. All that information is vitally important. It's unfortunate that 6 people have been transported to the hospital, with 1 being critical. That plays on a parent's mind as to whether or not it's their child. Or whatever. So that's the only anxiety part at this point that will be there for parents. But if they've heard from their child, that means that they're safe. That means that they're being controlled by law enforcement. They have the ability to make that phone call to let them know that they're safe. So that should ease their mind a little bit.
So how wide will this perimeter be? I know some people stay off campus in apartments or something like that, and then so how much of a perimeter has to be locked down?
It'll initially be campus wide. Nobody on, nobody off. nobody on, nobody off until law enforcement completes their job. So it could expand. It could expand to adjacent properties or whatever if witnesses lead them that way. If somebody saw someone running outside of a student, whatever, even if it was a student, they don't know if they were involved with it or not, law enforcement is going to follow up on every lead that they get, every piece of information that they get. They're going to follow up on it. They're going to do it expeditiously as well.
Okay, we just got an official statement from President Trump, so let's share that with you right now. The White House statement is the president has been briefed on the shooting at Florida State University, and the White House is actively monitoring the situation. That's from his press secretary. We also have some video coming in now we want to show you. That is the hospital. Is that right? Okay, here it is right here. This is brand new video. This has just been sent to us. It appears to show students being evacuated from a building on campus. I can't tell if their hands are up in the air, but Kyla told us a couple times that if she's evacuated for the third time, they did tell her to keep her hands up in the air. And again, if you are just joining us, let's give you a recap right now. An active shooter was reported in the area of Florida State University's Student Union. Their alert went out at 12:02 today, and we have multiple sources telling ABC News that one suspect at least is in custody, but this is still considered an active situation. A spokesperson with Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare is telling us that they are treating 6 people right now. As I've been saying, I don't know if those are teachers or students or a mix. One of those patients is in critical condition. The rest of them, the other 5, in serious condition. And so we want to make sure that we chat again with Kyla. If you're just joining us as well, Kyla Grogan is a freshman at FSU. She was in one building, was sent to another building, and now she's hearing that she may be sent again. And Kyla, you were so nice to be able to ask your friends sitting around you if they wanted to speak, and they don't, and that's okay. We respect that. Are you all on the floor? Describe are you against a wall, in a closet? What are you doing right now, please?
We're in like some graduate student's office that's like off the hallway.
And so do they have you sitting on chairs or against a wall hidden, or what precautions are you taking?
Well, the room is all brick, so there's no windows, and just everyone's just in here sitting on whatever.
Or on the ground, or on books, or chairs if they have them. How many people are in the room with you?
I would say like 15, 20.
Now, earlier you were saying that you'd seen probably 10 officers outside in your one hallway. Are they still walking around out there?
Where I am, I can't see the hallway anymore, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay.